At this time, we're going to be going over our flashcards. So go ahead and find the card that you have that says given two sides of a right triangle and need to find another side. I'll give you a few minutes or a couple seconds to do that. Make sure you also have a pencil out. All right, so these flashcards will help us review for our quiz because our quiz is all about right triangles, but there's different ways to solve right triangles depending on what kind of right triangle you have. So there's 5 different ways. This is one of them. So if we have a right triangle, go ahead and draw a right triangle. It doesn't matter what it looks like as long as it has that right angle. And it says we're given 2 sides of the right triangle. So you can label any 2 sides that you want. It doesn't matter which 2 you label. And it's asking us to find another side. So our missing side would be something like this. We're going to figure out how to solve this. Make sure you have a picture drawn on your card that looks similar to that with 2 sides labeled and a missing side. Anytime we're given 2 sides and a missing side, we use the Pythagorean theorem to solve that. So the Pythagorean theorem is going to be a squared plus b squared equals c squared. This is review from a couple weeks ago, so you should know that one. Go ahead and take that card and set it in a pile to the side. Then find the card that looks like this. I'll give you a few seconds to do that. So we'll go ahead and draw the picture for this one. This one says, given 2 sides of a right triangle and you need to find an angle. So this type of question will have some kind of right triangle. Draw your right triangle. Doesn't matter what it looks like again. And this time it's asking for 2 sides, or it gives you 2 sides, and it's asking for an angle. So label any 2 sides. Doesn't matter what you label them. But instead of the last one where we had a missing side, this one is now asking for a missing angle. So it doesn't matter which angle you use. I'm going to use this one over here and put a question mark. Whenever you're given 2 sides and it's asking for an angle, we solve that with the inverse trigonometric ratios. We're not going to write anything on this side because you actually have a card that has the inverse trigonometric ratios on it that we'll get to in a little bit. So turn that card back over. Grab the other card that you set to the side. Put them in a stack. Make sure the givens are on the same side. Now hold this side up to the person across from you, your eyeball partner, and the sub is going to set a timer for 1 minute, and you're going to quiz each other back and forth and back and forth and back and forth for 1 minute. So when you show your partner this side, they should be able to say Pythagorean theorem. If you show your partner this card, they should be able to say use inverse trigonometric ratios. So once you're done with both partners, you are going back and forth over and over and over. So sub, go ahead and pause the video, and then once the minute is up, we'll add another card. All right, go ahead and find this card. Given 1 side and 1 angle of a right triangle, need another side. And let's go ahead and draw this one. So again, we need a right triangle. Doesn't matter what right triangle we draw. And it says that we're given 1 side and 1 angle. So pick any side that you want and pick any angle. I'm going to label this side as 15 and this angle as 26. You can use whatever numbers you want here. We just need 1 side and 1 angle. So if you have this kind of triangle and it's asking you to find another side, doesn't matter which side, I'm going to put a question mark here, but you could put a question mark on the other one. To solve this type of right triangle, we use our trigonometric ratios. These are the very first ones that I showed you. So these are sine equals opposite over hypotenuse, etc. We'll get to that card in just a bit. Take this card, add it to your stack that you had previously, your other 2 cards. Make sure all the given sides are up. You're going to hold this side up to your partner, and again, the sub is going to set the timer for 1 minute. You're going to quiz each other over and over and over and over. So go ahead and pause the video, and then when the minute is up, go ahead and unpause the video. All right, go ahead and find this card, a right triangle with a 30 or 60 degree angle labeled, and we need to find a side. So let's go ahead and draw this one. So this would be a 30, 60, 90 triangle, so it has a very specific look, a very specific shape. There's going to be a short leg, a hypotenuse, and a long leg. And we have the right angle, and usually in these triangles, only one of the angles will be labeled, either the 60 or the 30, but probably not both. Let's go ahead and label the 60, but just know that it could label 30 as well. That's why we said 30 right here. And it will usually have one other side as well. So let's say this is 14. So if you see a triangle that looks like this, where we have a 30, 60, 90, and we need to find a side, we use the 30, 60, 90 special right triangle rules. If you remember from our lesson 2 weeks ago, we said that the short leg is x. We said that the hypotenuse is 2x. And we said that the long leg is x square roots of 3. Go ahead and get those written down. Once you're done writing those down, put that card, again, with your pile. Hold your cards up to your partner, and this time you have 1 minute. Again, you're quizzing over and over and over and over. These cards are part of your exit ticket today, so you want to make sure that you know them. Go ahead and pause the video for 1 minute, and then unpause when you're ready. All right, go ahead and find this card. Given a right triangle with 2 legs that are congruent, which means the same, need to find a side. So let's draw this one out. Again, it's a right triangle, and we have to have 2 legs that are the same. Doesn't matter how you draw it, as long as you draw some kind of right triangle where the 2 legs are the same length. Normally, when there's 2 legs that are the same, you'll see this little slash mark through the 2 sides, which means those are the same. And we know from our notes that if we have a right angle triangle that has 2 same sides, it's a 45, 45, 90. These 2 angles will not always be labeled 45, 45, 90, but we know that they're 45, 45. Sometimes it will say x over here and x over here. Sometimes it will say 3 over here and 3 over here. As long as those 2 sides are the same, it's going to be 45, 45, 90. So they usually give you one side. Let's say it gives you this side and they say that's 16. And we need to find another side. So it would be asking for one of these 2 right here. So the way that we solve this is with our 45, 45, 90 special right triangle rules. We know that the legs are going to be x. And we know that the hypotenuse is going to be x square roots of 2. Go ahead and get that written down. Then add this card to your stack. One more time, go ahead and hold that stack up to your neighbor. The sub is going to set the timer for 1 minute and 20 seconds this time, and then unpause the video when you're ready. All right, go ahead and find this card right here. What are the trigonometric ratios? This is what we were studying about 2 weeks ago for the first time. And when you say these to your partner, this is what I want to hear. Sine of theta equals opposite over hypotenuse. Then I want to hear cosine of theta equals adjacent over hypotenuse. Then I should hear tangent of theta equals opposite over adjacent. Don't forget any of those words, particularly the equal sign, the theta. With this card, what I'm going to have you do is hold it up to your partner like this on this side. And your partner is going to say those 3 trigonometric ratios. You're going to go back and forth for 1 minute just on this card. Don't put any other cards in the stack. So go ahead and pause the video, 1 minute just on the trigonometric ratios. Unpause when you're ready. All right, find this card in your stack. What are the inverse trigonometric ratios? We're going to do the same thing here. So on the back side, this is what I want to hear. Inverse of sine is inverse of sine, parentheses, opposite over hypotenuse equals theta. Cosine inverse, parentheses, adjacent over hypotenuse equals theta. And inverse tan, parentheses, opposite over adjacent equals theta. Don't forget any part of that. So again, hold this side up to your partner and have them read your 3 trigonometric inverse ratios for 1 minute. Go ahead and pause the video, unpause when you're ready. All right, finally add this card to your stack. This was a question on your homework last night, so we're not going to go over it, but add this card to your stack. This time, you're going to quiz on all of the cards. The sub is going to set the timer for 5 minutes, so you can stop the video right now and then 5 minutes of practice on those cards.